see you there. Let's move on and talk a little bit more seriously about the market action today. In the record books, an incredible finish. Talk us through exactly how the session panned out.
It's kind of appropriate that you're interviewing Gene Simmons because it was a rockstar performance by the Aussie share market today. We saw a rise of 1.3%, really shrugging off those worries about the Italian elections. Instead, the market recording another strong gain for the month of February. For the month, we managed a gain of 4.6%, and that follows on from a performance of 4.9% in the month of January. So for 2013 so far, we're up by 9.8%. It means that a lot of institutional money and a lot of fund managers who aren't fully invested in this market will be trailing in terms of performance at this point. So March should be an interesting month. If we can hold on to these gains, no doubt the end of month window dressing in an end of quarter window dressing in March is going to be quite an interesting one. We really shrugged off those fourth quarter capex numbers coming through on our market. We did see a decline of 1.2%, but if we have a look at forward expectations in the current financial year, there is expected to be $168 billion worth of work, and that's up from 4% in the last financial year. So that was seen as a positive. In fact, we saw the Aussie share market high, we saw the Aussie dollar high as well. Just having a look at the Aussie dollar, and this is what it looked like. You can see where we saw the capex numbers coming through, and then it was up and away for the rest of the session. Another important event was in Japan, the Bank of Japan governor being named, and that was a huge event for Japan. We saw the Japanese market up a massive 2.3%, and the currency markets really acting strongly on that, with the Japanese yen weakening off. But on the Aussie market, all sectors were higher, with the one exception of the telecom space. So really risk on, and that was shown in the Aussie dollar, that was shown in sector performance, and that was also shown in terms of the Aussie share market.
What about volumes, Julia? It looked like we saw a bit of conviction behind the buying today as well. $6 billion or so in terms of turnover.
We've ended up at $6.7 billion worth of stock being traded, so a fantastic month, and that's quite a bullish signal. When you do see strong gains, the market rising 1.3% on the back of very high volume, $6.8 billion worth of stock, that's a very bullish signal. If we have a look at the Australian share market, we've reached the highest level for 2013 so far this year. In fact, we've seen a multi-year high for the Aussie share market. So if we have a look at the 30-day chart of the Aussie share market, this is what the month of February looks like. We look like we were seeing a little bit of a pullback and a bit of a correction, but having a look at the performance today, and we've surpassed the highest point that we've seen in 2013 so far. So altogether, a very bullish signal. The key now is whether we can hold on to the gains that we saw in this session, or whether it was end of month window dressing. That's going to be an important one for the market, but it does look like money's still coming off the sidelines, and that's really driving the positive momentum that we're seeing in terms of the Aussie share market. Earnings season also coming to a close, and I think one of the important things coming through from earnings season are the dividend rises that we've seen in our key blue chip companies, and that's really helped to support the big end of town. If we have a look at the small ordinaries index, we've only seen a rise of just over 4% in the year to date so far. That compares to the ASX 200, which is up around about 10%. So it's really the blue chips that have been outperforming. Some strong dividend rises there, really helping to support those stock moves as well. So the end of earnings season looks like it's been a pretty positive one for the Aussie share market.